Peace. I wanted to talk about how I feel as if I've always been a spiritual person. One of the first experiences that I remember as a child is always having this calmness about me in every situation. It didn't matter if I was getting picked on as a child. It didn't matter if I was crying. Like, I still always had this mental calmness. It's very difficult to explain. One of my struggles in life was acceptance. I've always had that struggle, and I feel like I have grown from that. I still have growth to do in that regard, but as a child, I did have difficulty with that. I was one of those children who would freely give away my toys to just be loved and be accepted. I was one of those children. I was also one of those children who would cry for hours and hours and be told, okay, you should be done crying now. When my grandma, she was one of those individuals that spent a great deal raising me until I was about 11 or 12, helping my dad as a single parent. But anyway, she would allow me to be outside at night if it was rainy and it was warm out. I have gone on many trips with both my father and my grandmother. We go to places like Florida. I'm only going to mention Florida because it was one of my favorite places. I had in my mind that I wanted to move there because I love the rain, I love the warmth, I love the tropics. Moving on a little bit, my grandmother had meditation tapes. Like, I would lay there and listen to guided meditations and follow the rules and lay still and things like that. My mother, I was told that she was always dreaming things and all of that. I grew up as a Baptist. I grew up in a Baptist church. I got baptized by age 9 or 10, and then I ended up switching my religion to apostolic. They believe that you had to have the Holy Ghost to be saved, and I actually did get the tongue-talking Holy Ghost. I thought that was pretty cool. Anything spiritual and dealing with spirits and dealing with the dead, I was a little bit fascinated with. I have been told that I could have potentially dealt with spirits in my youth, maybe age 3 or so. But anyway, I have gone through a lot. Like, growing up in school, I didn't have very many friends. I was an introvert, and I'm still an introvert, except I'm more antisocial. I think I'm developing more into antisocial because I'm being more comfortable in my energy. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I do feel like it would be beneficial to me and other people that I develop some type of union and develop friendships among others. I still have to access that within myself. It's very difficult for me because I've always been an introvert. And it's also difficult because I'm actually a mother to a child who's very outgoing. He's the outgoing version of me. He's very strong-willed. You know, it's very difficult because he needs a lot of structure, and he needs to be placed in environments that will nurture his outgoing personality. Anyway, I'm going a little bit on a rant here. Let me try to get back on track. Okay, so I've always felt like an outcast. I've always been the type of child to be very laid back. My parents took very good care of me. I feel like it took me a while to develop in the way I was supposed to, and I do lead a life that many other black children or melanated children have gone through, and we can go a little bit further into that, but I don't want to get into that into this video. Anyways, going back to spirituality, and also wanted to talk about being an outcast. I didn't feel like I really fit in with, because I was in schools where there were black children and white children. I didn't feel like I fit in either category. I tried, though. I tried really hard. I had a goth stage where I wore goth clothing. after I got into high school, I felt that apostolics that I were close to, they were gossipers and drama, and that kind of made me rebel a little bit and go more towards the dark side and start looking into tarot cards, things that are supposed to be dark and supposedly not good for us, but they are things that open you up to more knowledge. And of course, in the society we live in, they do everything possible to keep us from information. But now it's a little bit more difficult because we have the internet, we can access things. But how else was I spiritual? I do think I had maybe 2 or 3 spiritual awakenings. I naturally can feel how people are feeling. I do feel like I am good at sensing energy. Since I am an introvert, when I am out, I'm very sensitive to energy. I feel like I can actually read people at a distance usually. But I can also read people who are close to me too. I can read facial experience. I can read facial expressions. I can read energy. A lot of times I'm shy. I'm kind of too shy to address it because if they're having some type of feeling, like some type of low vibrational feeling, sadness, angerness, I don't want to feel it. So it's hard for me to look into people's eyes and see how they're feeling. It's like I do have that gift, but if I look, I'm going to feel it a little bit because I'm very sensitive to energy. But yes, before becoming deeper into Black consciousness, I was heavily fascinated with calling into psychic lines, getting readings, dealing with astrologists, the ones that you email back and forth. I spent a good deal of money doing that until I came across Exceptional Ron. He did some type of mental connection to the brain or something. I forgot. But anyway, it helped me realize that I really need to dig deeper into Black concerns, Black issues, and reconnect into unity. I know that not all of us will be in unity, but for those who are open to it, for those who desire to do it, I do want to reach out to those because it's very important. Because I do feel like every other race of people do have better unity than Black people. So I do want to be have unity amongst those people. But what else? I did also go to a supposed psychic in Chicago, and she said, "Oh, if you give me $1,000, your life is set and you're good to go." This and that, and I did it. I paid the $1,000, but I felt like both the physical psychic that I went to and also Ron actually helped me to dig deeper and deeper into Black consciousness. I don't know how and why, because I feel like they know as well as I know that melanated beings have a stronger ability to tap into things like that. So I'm like, okay, if they're helping me and I'm tapping into Black consciousness, I doubt it's coming from them. So I feel like the ancestors, I was able to tap in deeper with the ancestors for me to access that information, overstand and understand that. That's where the true information comes from. So I feel like a big leap into my journey was going to Exceptional Ron and also going to that one psychic lady in Chicago, whatever her name is. Anyways, I stopped paying Ron money. I'm like, okay, I'm canceling this and that, and I don't know, something clicked in my mind to whereas I'm like, okay, I don't need this. I can tap into my own magic. It is out there. But one of the things that rung strong to me and loud was the amount of killings that are going on in Black neighborhoods, Black people. I know it's been going on, but it became stronger in my attention. At that point, almost immediately stopped eating meat. But before that happened, my grandmother had passed of cancer, and I started developing thoughts that revolved around that. I'm like, okay, why are all of my family dying of cancer? In my own interpretation, I feel like it's the meat that's causing it. So as soon as she passed away, that's like a mom to me. That's pretty much my first mom. That's who I feel is my mom to me. She had a great deal of raising me. So I'm like, okay. So I'm gonna stop eating meat. Worst case scenario, I'm gonna die of cancer, and at least, you know, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try not eating meat and see what it does for my body. So I did that. Stopped eating meat, and a little bit before I stopped eating meat, I actually put my hair in box braids. I can't remember if they were single leaf twists or box braids, because another thing that happened with me to make me push more into natural was that a very popular hairstylist that I would try to get a hold of, she's very busy, and she would always get back to me. She didn't get back to me. So I saw that as a perfect opportunity to start becoming more natural and more independent on myself and what I can do for my hair. That's how my natural hair journey began. Okay. What else? So I had that. I had that push. You know how sometimes the universe pushes you into things, pushes you stronger into your truth some type of way? I do feel like that was one of the reasons. It was a reason for me not being able to have that access to that hairdresser I normally have that access to. And then I would go to other hairdressers, and they could not compete with anybody like her. So I'm like, okay. I saw that as a sign to start doing my own thing. Start actually doing my own hair. But there was that, and then all of a sudden I started seeing all these conscious groups. I want to say it started from Facebook. One of my first teachers were Young Pharaoh. I ran into King Noble. I ran into Nature Boy. I also ran into Palmetto Star. And pretty much, I'm the type of person where I'm able to use teachings and kind of create my own. And that's how I feel everybody should do it. I could be right, I could be wrong, but I don't feel like information has limit to it. You have to get information from everywhere, just like in nature. You get information from the sun, you get information from the wind, you get information from the foods that you put into your body, you get information from the water. It works in a similar way when it comes to teachers. I mean, if you notice when they're growing up, I mean, I do not support the school system and public schooling, but you have different teachers. It's not the same teacher teaching you. And I feel like the divine has it set up that way somewhat, you know, to also teach us that there's a lot that could be our teacher, not just one teacher. When it comes to our youth, I see it a little bit differently, you know, until they become age of 18, then yeah, they should go exploring the world. But yeah, that's pretty much my journey. That's what put me in the right direction. And I will continue to be creative with my energy. I can teach others. It's going to be a little bit difficult for me to teach on the level as those teachers that I mentioned in this video, because I'm very introverted, but I am working on myself in that area, so I hope to develop from that. I am connected to the right people, and hopefully I can build more with like-minded individuals. I hope so.